Hello, this is George here for Lawson Learning. As you can see, today I'm out here trying to catch the last of the day's sun. So the topic I wanted to talk about today is how to deal with fear. So we all feel fear at some point in our lives. At the moment, I can sense there's a lot of fear going around, as you are probably aware. I'm not going to talk about why, I'm just going to talk about some of the ways in which we can deal with fear when it happens. You see, fear isn't, you might think fear is a bad thing, that fear is there it's there against us somehow, but actually fear is built into us as a warning. It's for our survival. If we didn't feel fear, we wouldn't have survived thus far. However, the fear instinct isn't, you might say, that intelligent. Like it doesn't take into account a lot of things, and it can cause us to it can lead us into hysteria, which is where we end up panicking about things that don't really matter. And the reason we do this, it's partly perpetuated by the powers that be, so the media and the government and so on, because, you know, fear is a way to keep everyone in line. It's a way to control people. If you're in fear, then you'll listen to whatever the people in power tell you to do. And that's how fear can be manipulated. And also, you know, in the case of the media, it's and the news, it's the case of getting the most views. If they tell you a good story, if they tell you a nice story, you're not going to bother to watch the news. But if they tell you a dark and terrifying story, then you probably are going to watch the news. You're going to be tempted, at least, anyway. So we all feel fear. Why do we feel fear? Well, we're protecting ourselves. How do we deal with fear when we have it? Well, there's no way of simply getting rid of the fear when it comes on. So if we feel fear, then that's how we're feeling right now, and that's what we have to accept is the case. But we can deal with it, and there are ways of finding the thoughts that are causing the fear. So a form of therapy I've learned a lot about recently is called cognitive behavioural therapy. I'll say that again, cognitive behavioural therapy, or otherwise known as CBT, and that's really useful for noticing the thoughts that are going on in your mind that are causing you to feel certain ways. Because when we have an emotion, not just fear, but if we have another painful emotion like sadness or grief of some kind, we're going to try to get rid of the feeling and say the feeling is bad, or this fear is bad, I shouldn't be feeling this fear. No, of course you should be feeling the fear. There's no reason why you shouldn't be feeling the fear right now. Just feel it, but also know that there's something that's causing it. So let's choose another example of fear other than the one you're used to. So you might be afraid if let's say you're trying to get to sleep one night and you hear a little banging at the door. Now, the banging at the door itself isn't necessarily bad in and of itself. It just is what it is. But it's about how you react to the banging at the door that's important. So you could react to the banging at the door, just think, oh well, it's probably just the wind, and then you're fine, and then you go back to sleep. But some people might react to the banging at the door in a different way. So they might react thinking, well, what if it's a burglar? or what if the burglar has a weapon, or what if that burglar is going to kill me? And then immediately, when you entertain those kinds of thoughts, then of course it's going to create an emotion of fear, even though the event itself of the banging on the door, the situation wasn't fearful in and of itself. Your reaction to that situation created the fear, you see. So you can apply that to whatever you're scared of. Anything in life that you're scared of. I would encourage you to pick one thing, and first of all, just write down the situation. So there's a banging at the door, so you write down a banging at the door, if that's what's making you scared. Then you write down what your thoughts are about that situation. So, for example, you write down, I'm afraid that a burglar is going to come into the house, steal my stuff and kill me, for example. So then you write that down. And then you write down what emotion is being created by this thought. Well, it's fear, so you write down fear. And then you think about, well, what kind of thinking style is this? How am I thinking about this? And there are a list of different cognitive styles. If you search CBT online, you can find out what these are. But one of them, for example, is catastrophizing. So in this case, it would be catastrophizing, imagining the worst possible scenario that could happen, aka a burglar is going to kill me. So that's catastrophizing. That's the catastrophizing cognitive style. So you would write down catastrophizing, and then finally you would challenge that thought. You would turn it around, and you could say, well, you could question it. You could just write down, how do I know it's a burglar? Do I know for sure? Could it have just been the wind? Could it be something else? How can I view this situation in a different way? That's another word for that, I suppose, is reframing. You're reframing how you look at a situation. And then you realize that this is all there is the present moment, and there isn't anything else. And so really, there's nothing much to worry about. It is funny how, despite everything that goes on in society and in the world, nature just continues on as it is. Even if all we humans end up doing something stupid and being killed off, for nature that's okay, because nature will continue on. It will keep going. As a human myself, I hope that doesn't happen, but nothing bad can possibly happen in this life, in this world, because you can imagine the worst thing happening, but that's only if you're viewing it from a very small lens, and you're viewing it from your corner, your little perspective. So try out the CBT technique I described earlier. You can rewind in the video and go back. I'll probably be doing a lot more of these videos. I hope to be doing a lot more of these videos soon. I do, after all, have a lot of time, as I imagine other people do right now. So that's it for me. and I wish you all the best, and I wish you are enjoying your days at the moment and trying to get at least one moment every day where you can get outside, get some vitamin D, get some sun. Alright, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.